role you guys make, it's like, where's my Luisito?
Oh, good that
That's
you feel
great.
that. That's how it should be.
No, thank you. That's great.
But at the same time, I was so heartbroken. Sarah, tell me what you were looking forward to this project.
Well, I'm definitely very appreciative and grateful that I got to be a part of it, because Latinos in general are experiencing a very important time in media. And the fact that we get to tell our stories and tell them from an authentic perspective is an opportunity to put ourselves out there with stories that resonate with our community and hopefully inspire other people to do the same. So I'm very excited to see the story finally on demand and also on the big screen for the audiences to watch.
Definitely. Now, Manny, you make your directorial debut as a director. We've seen you behind the camera. You've been a writer before. Look, Washington Heights.
That's right.
There. So,
Well, you know what? Yeah, it's my first baby as a director. I've written actually like 4 other projects that I produced and written, but never directed. The reason why I wanted to direct this one, just because the way I write is very visual, and then for me to sit down with a director and explain to him exactly what I want him to see in my what I wrote, it's just too much work. And since this was a low budget film, I decided to say, you know what, I think I could do this. I've been in so many films that I've learned and watched. One thing about me is like I absorb directors and how they do it. And that sort of was a learning process for me as an actor as well. So yeah, doing this was amazing. I would love to do it again. It was a learning process, but it was a beautiful process.
but what made you do it with La Soga Salvation? Because, I mean, the original La Soga, that was what, 2009, 2010?
That was 2010. Just the story of a hitman, this especially this type of a guy, Luisito, who was a hitman, had a horrible past, a horrible upbringing, moved to the States to change his life, to live a normal life, and his past doesn't let him. And I just felt like that character has so much to offer. And that's why I decided to sort of write about that background and how is a man who's just trying to get by, but he can't because his past and his demons won't let him.
And now, Sarah, I mean, maybe you agree with me, but based on Manny's work, I mean, he continues with one of the main elements, which is music, integrated in action and all sorts of emotions going on in the film. Can you talk a little bit about that? Either one?
Well, I really, Manny, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Because it's Rita Indiana, right? Manny, that's in the intro?
No, she's in the end credit.
On the end credit. Yeah. I think that the incorporation of music on the first one and the second one has always been something that's like a character in the story, because I believe it also has rhythms that we as a Afro-Latino community identify with, and are sounds that are very much our own. But you can talk more about like who the artists are and all that, because I'm not familiar.
Yeah. I mean, the music itself, the composer of the composed music is his name is Carlo. He's amazing composer. But the source music, I wanted to make sure that I incorporate music that are familiar nowadays with my nieces, my nephews, my neighbors. So yeah, there's a lot of reggaeton in there. There's a lot of salsa. There's a lot of merengue. There's a mix of everything. What makes a Latino. And I sort of wanted to make sure to that. I also wanted to incorporate how we as Latinos speak. We speak Spanglish, which is not really English, or in Spanish, it's a mix of both. So I wanted to make sure I incorporate that. I also wanted to incorporate the whole hookah experience, because that's the whole thing of like Latinos when they party. There's always a hookah involved. So I wanted to incorporate that as well, which I think was an amazing scene in regards to that element that happens in the last 20 minutes of the film.
Well, I've been missing out on partying with a hookah. Where have I been? Element that I noticed in the original, there was the pig, but this time you have this rooster. I mean, we kind of do as Latinos have attachment for our animals, right?
Yeah, true. Well, the guy is a butcher, so I need to incorporate elements that makes his background, and he loves animal. And to him, a rooster is like being back home. Reminds him of being back home. So I definitely want to incorporate that. And actually, there is a pig in Salvation, a small version in but anyway, there's a pig.
And I think also, like, in regards to the rooster and all that, I feel like it's a great way that Manny uses to show us parts of why Leah loves him. How he takes care, like taking care of something or someone is definitely an act of love and dedication. And him as a sicario, not necessarily people would associate it with that, but the fact that he does do that he wakes up every morning and feeds them and takes care of them, is a vehicle that I think he uses to also show us how his humanity.
And vulnerable. I mean, there's a scene where we have him be like, "That's your mother."
Exactly.
Exactly. Well, yeah, no, I feel like, the good thing about this sicario, it's just that he's not your typical Hollywood sicario bad boy. He's just a guy trying to get by, and he happens to have killed people in the past. But he's just a regular man, regular dude just trying to find love but somehow love cannot maintain because of his past.
Yeah.
Now, for you, Sarah, you had some intense scenes, pretty emotional. I was scared for you. My palms were sweating. Can you talk a little bit about them?
They were definitely very intense. I remember that I got very bad migraines at the end of the day that we shot those scenes, because they were definitely very heightened scenes for me. It was very interesting and exciting to build those scenes. Manny and I worked on a timeline for how her physical body and her emotional self would change through the time she was in that situation. So we definitely got a great scenario to explore very extreme circumstances. I don't want to give it away, so I don't know how to say it without not saying it. But yes, it was they were intense, very much so.
Manny, can you talk about one of your favorite scenes that you looked forward to directing?
That I looked forward to directing. Well, good question. The truth is, I love the scene with the narco. That whole sequence with the narco. Once they see the film, they know what I'm talking about. Why? Because the guy who plays the narco is not really an actor in real life. He's just a guy with an amazing voice and an amazing presence. And I just loved watching him. So to me, being on set with him was a learning experience. And mind you, I've been acting for 20, 30 years, but he's new at it. And I just learned from watching him do his thing. So that was very pleasant for me to be part of.
And what was one of the challenging moments where you were just like, okay, what did I get myself into as a director?
Oh, wow.
Was there a moment where you were just like looking for that direction yourself?
No, you know what? No, I hate to say no, because it sounds very like I know what I'm talking about. But we prepped for like a month ahead of time. So I made sure we had enough prep time so that would not happen. So that was a good thing. And the good thing is that I was, praying that the weather was good throughout the 15 days, and it was. So now if we had a rainy day or a snowy day, it would have messed with my whole plan of what we had already put together. So that was a good thing. But that I was afraid of the weather, I guess, throughout the process.
That makes sense. There's no control in the weather.
Exactly.
Back one of the characters from the original, the general.
Yeah, Juan Fernndez. I brought him back because he is part of this man's nightmare. He is part of this man's demon. Because at the end of the day, he's a sicario who's trying to be good, but he still has to deal with his demons, and he is past of his nightmares, his demons. So that's why I brought him back. I feel like he was part of like this man turning and finding himself again, and which is to become the sicario that he's running away from.
Now, I'm not going to spoil the ending. I have a feeling there can be more. What do you think?
Yeah, there will be more. There will be more. The reason why he goes through this journey is because he becomes the man that he hates, which is the sicario he's been running away from. So there will be more for him in the future.
Great. Well, thank you for that. Something to look forward to.
Thank you.
Well, to start wrapping up, is there something you can share that you might be working on? Or if not, can't share, it's okay. I respect it.
For me, I'm just trying to get people to watch this movie, and the 28th of January in theaters, and then on demand the same day. So if you can't go to the movie theater, you can always watch it from your home, which is great. Sarah, anything on your end?
Same thing. Go watch the film.
Well, that's great. Well, a lot of the original Soga fans are definitely going to be there watching. I was one of them. And if you don't mind me asking, since I think we still have a moment, one thing about the original I remember was the scene with the pig. Now, was that a real pig?
Yeah, that was a real pig. But we didn't kill that pig. We didn't butcher that pig. That pig was being butchered to be sold. So we just recorded what was happening. But that's how it is done in a third world country. That's how a pig gets sold and butchered down to be sold.
No, I know. I'm Latina. I know what you're saying, but that scene, that's one of the things that leaves me marked when it comes to that movie. That's why one of the things I could never forget that movie. I was just like, oh, I remember closing my eyes and being like, oh, the
yeah.
pig.
No, it's crazy, but yeah, it's a true true to life moment,
Yeah, I don't see carnitas the same way. I can assure you that.
Well, I don't eat meat at all, just so you know.
Oh, so it is true. From Luisito, no meat.
Luisito is true. Yes, that is true.
Unfortunately, I cannot say the same.
Okay, well, there you go.
Well, thank you so much both for your time. Congratulations, and people are definitely going to be watching the Soga Salvation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nancy.
Welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.